So I rang the army and said, could I join early? And they sent me a sergeant down to the station, and he gave me a ticket to Aldershot and 10 old shillings as an advance on my pay, and put me on the to a train to Aldershot. And I arrived at Aldershot about 9:30 at night on a February night. It was all raining. There was a Land Rover there, and I asked the Land Rover if he could go anywhere near Browning Barracks. And he said, yeah, jump in. And it was all open plan in those days. There was no IRA campaign to speak of. And I walked up to the guard and knocked on the door. I weighed about 8 stone, wet through, had long hair in those days, still had hair. I was wearing a thin wind cheater jacket, I remember, button-down plaid shirt, pair of trousers that were too short for me, and plastic shoes. And the guard came out, huge guy, big red berry, screamed at me, who the devil are you? I said, I heard about you. He said, we put a bed down there. You're the only one here. There's a bed down there in the accommodation block. We put some blankets on it. He said, the NAFI's open to 10:30. You can get yourself a pint. He said, you got some money? I said, yeah. He says, where's your luggage? And I can still remember to this day what I had. I had a plastic bag, and in it were a spare shirt, spare pair of underwear, spare pair of socks, and some shaving game my first father had left when he left the house, and held it as plastic bag. And I said, that's all I own in the world. And that's how I walked into the army.
Wow. Was it always going to be the Parachute Regiment?
Actually, no. Again, I didn't know anything about it. I knew I wanted to go into one of the, if you're going to join someone, join. And I thought stupidly that the Royal Marine Commandos were part of the army. So I went into the army recruiting office, and I said, I want to join the Royal Marine Commando. He said, you're in the wrong place, that's the Navy. He said, we've got commando regiments. He said, we've got the commando gunners, we've got commando this. And I looked up behind him, and there was this big picture of a parachute. And the guy came down and said, what about that? I said, oh, that's the parachute regiment. You don't want to go in that. I said, oh, yeah, I do. I'll go in that. And that's how I joined the parachute regiment. It was really quite big. I don't know what the training in the parachute regiment is like to these days, but certainly in the 70s, it was brutal, to say the least. They used to take us out for runs and bring us back in and make us stand there in front of the gym and scream at the top of the voice, for the right to kill, we must suffer. For the right to kill, we must suffer. Yeah, but it really did. When you came out of the parachute depot, all you wanted was a rifle, a bayonet, and a hill to charge. They really indoctrinated you into it. They are, and I just want to say this in passing, the parachute regiment in the 70s and 80s was the finest assault infantry, not only in this country, not even in Europe, but probably in the world.